Welcome to The Birth Breakdown, a mini-sode series from Her Birth, Her Story. These short episodes are here to open conversations around pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. Things I believe that every woman deserves to look into, to question, and just to feel empowered by. This isn't about telling you what to do, what's right, or what's wrong. It's about giving you space to think, to learn, and to ask questions, to just trust yourself a little bit more as you prepare for your birth. So let's break it down. Today's mini-sode is a short but really empowering one because we're breaking down who's actually in your birth space and what they each bring to the table. Whether you're planning a hospital birth, birth center, or a home birth, understanding your options helps you advocate for yourself, feel supported, and just walk into birth with confidence instead of confusion. So first up, we have midwives. I know that we already did a mini-sode kind of comparing and just certain questions that you should ask whether you want to go OB or midwife. And just like I always say too, it's not one size fits all. You need to really look into which one's going to best support you, but just some overview for midwives. They are trained medical professionals who specialize in low-risk pregnancies, birth, and postpartum care. They often take a more holistic, hands-off, and relational-based approach. They're more focused on just supporting the physiological side of birth and just monitoring mom and baby's health while providing emotional support and care as needed. So depending on where you live, you might see a hospital-based midwife, you might see a birth center midwife, or you could even experience a home birth midwife. Midwives are really beautiful if you're wanting a balance of medical knowledge but low intervention care, hands-off experience. Next is an OB, and this is a physician who is trained in pregnancy, labor, and most often surgical birth like a C-section, and they are amazing and necessary for high-risk pregnancies, medical complications, and situations where interventions are definitely needed. OBs tend to take more of a medical model approach, which can feel reassuring for some moms, especially if they have safety concerns, but also for the moms who are already anxious when it comes to the medical model. OBs might not be the best route for you, but as I had already said in the previous mini-sode, ask questions because not all OBs and all midwives are the same. So just make sure that you go in with different questions because you might interview two different OBs. And one might be a great fit for you and another might not. And it's the same with midwives. You might interview a handful of midwives and one might work and the other one you might not. And it's really important that you feel safe and empowered and confident in the person who is caring for you during this time. Next, doulas. Let's talk doulas. My personal favorite support role, just because I really think that for my first unmedicated hospital birth, my doula was a game changer for not only me, but also for my husband. She was exactly what I needed, and she encouraged my husband to do different things to support me as well, and it just really made my overall experience amazing. So a doula is a non-medical support person who is there just for you. They don't deliver your baby, but they do provide emotional support. They have a lot of pain management techniques. They can, just like I said, guide your partner on how to support you and just really help advocate for your birth preferences. Yes, doulas are trained, though. I do want to make sure that I say that. They do go through a course so that they are certified in this care. Doulas are consistent, meaning they're there with you through labor in a way that a lot of the hospital staff can't really be. Studies have even shown that having a doula can lead to lower intervention rates, shorter labors, a more positive birth experience, and honestly, sometimes just having someone in the room whose only job is to say, "You're doing amazing," rub your back, and just be there for you, that matters way more than what we even realize. Next up is birth photographers. This one is so special. Birth photographers are professionals who document your labor and birth in just a real, raw, respectful storytelling way. They capture your strength, the emotion, and just the first moments of you pulling your baby up to your chest. And I know it might sound like a luxury, but for many moms, these photos become part of their healing, processing, especially if the birth didn't go as planned. And a lot of times we just want to have these photos to relive these moments. And even if you aren't wanting to spend money on a birth photographer, you always should designate someone to just snap a few photos, even on an iPhone, or set up your video camera, your GoPro, whatever, and just record it. You can always delete it and not look at it if it's something that you don't want. But once it happens, you will never get that back. It's just memories and pictures that live in your mind. And so a birth photographer or just someone who's designated to capture video and photos is so valuable. And a lot of times we think of, why would I want pictures of my birth? It's not somebody who's just standing down there taking pictures of your hoo-ha. It is literally you going through contractions, the intimate moments of you and your birth team, the moment that you actually push out your baby and your baby's on your chest. And it's just so powerful. And to be honest, for me, I literally love the photos, the videos that I have of both of my births, and it just means so much to me that I love to reflect on that, and it always just makes me cry because of how much I just want to relive those moments and keep them etched into my brain. And I really think that the photos and the videos really help. Next is a pelvic floor therapist. Let's talk about it. It's so underrated, but pelvic floor therapy. Pelvic floor therapists specialize in the muscles that support your bladder, your uterus, your core, and they can just help prepare your body for birth, reduce tearing risk, and improve your pushing mechanics. They also can help you heal postpartum, like issues like leaking, pain, prolapse, and just overall health, making sure that your body is all working together to help healing and just to help you feel more normal after labor. This is one of those things that I wish every woman knew about before she needed it. And unfortunately, in the US, it is not something that is automatically prescribed, part of everyone's postpartum healing journey. It should be, but unfortunately it's not. But if you do give birth in a hospital, you can always ask for a reference to see a pelvic floor therapist, or I would highly encourage you to just look for some self-pay ones that you obviously vet first, that it's a good match for you, and really look into that, especially postpartum. Next is a prenatal chiropractor, and it's very important that you find someone who is Webster technique certified, because they specialize in pregnant women. The certain techniques that they use and stuff are specific to that. So these are chiropractors who are trained to work with pregnant women, often using this technique. They focus on aligning the pelvis, reducing discomfort, creating optimal space for baby, and just some moms find that consistent chiropractic care really helps with baby positioning, your back and hip pain, and just overall comfort in pregnancy. And I will say, from a personal testimony, I've done chiropractic care with both of my pregnancies, and especially my first, because I was in early labor and I had a chiropractor appointment that day, and I didn't want to miss it because I knew that it would be so beneficial for when I did actually go into active labor. And once I got adjusted, it was like, just like that, active labor. So that is part of my testimony with my first birth. Next, I don't feel that we actually really take this as serious as what we should, but lactation support, breastfeeding specialist. This one is for after the baby arrives, and I think it's important. We've already kind of talked about it too, that just because breastfeeding is something that we naturally or innately do doesn't mean that it is common or natural feeling, or that you just start and you become a pro. So a lactation consultant can especially be helpful because they're trained to help with breastfeeding and infant feeding support, and they just help with latch issues, milk supply concerns, pain with feeding, pumping guidance, and formula support. And here's the thing, breastfeeding doesn't always come naturally, like I said, even though we're told it should. So having that support here can really be the difference between feeling overwhelmed and just wanting to quit, or feeling confident and supported in however you choose to feed your baby. And a good lactation consultant will never shame you. They just meet you where you are. So here's the truth, mama. You don't need every single one of these people in your birth, but knowing that they exist gives you options, and options are power. Your birth team should feel safe, supportive, respectful, and aligned with your values and your wanted outcome. Because at the end of the day, this is your birth story. So just like with anything that we do, look into each of these individuals and see what would be beneficial for you and your birth. What's going to help you feel empowered and supported. And obviously, we can't forget about the other important people in your room too, like your husband, or even your mom, your sister, whoever it may be, your best friend, whoever that is. These people need to make you feel safe, encouraged, and empowered. If this episode sparked curiosity, affirmed something you've been feeling, or just gave you a whole new perspective, I'd love for you to share it with another mom or mom-to-be who might need it. Make sure you're following Her Birth, Her Story, and if you feel called, leaving a review is one of the best ways to support this space. And it just helps these conversations to reach more women. Until next time, remember, this is your body, your baby, and your birth. We are reclaiming birth one story at a time.